wanted to start out by asking about, just kind of talking about U.S. travelers and what you think the best way is to attract that U.S. traveler, maybe as opposed to travelers from different countries.
Yeah, I think something interesting has been the importance that U.S. travelers have for Ecuador. So it's actually 17% of the people that arrive to Ecuador are from the US. So it's our second most important market. So I think one of the things they enjoy a lot about Ecuador is first the climate. Our two peaks are one in the summer and the other one in winter, with many just run away from the snow. So that is something that attires them. And the other one is the kindness of the people. That is one of the things they mention a lot. Plus the natural things of Ecuador that sometimes I think they miss. So it's like an opportunity to kind of go away from their routine, go away from what they have, and go to a different place that offers new things, yet giving them I would say kind of like the peace of mind that they are also going to something that is familiar enough for them.
Right.
Because you also don't want to go to a point where when everything is so different that it's uncomfortable.
Right.
So for example, people do speak English, they do have brands of hotels that are also known here, we have, food chains and stuff. So you always have that piece of Ecuador that will make you feel at home being in a different country.
And is there a big effort to attract global hotel brands and kind of develop that whole infrastructure?
Yes, for us, I think it's something important with hotel brands is that they show you or give you a sense of what the destination is. So if you talk about a destination that has, Wyndham and Swissotel and Hilton, that says something about the place where they are. So we have been I would say, in a very successful attracting new investment. So from 2014 to 2016, the investment is around $750 million in private hotels. So we have 4 new ones and of big hotels. So Swissotel is having 2 new hotel towers in Guayaquil. The Wyndham is opening the big hotel, one in Guayaquil and the one in the airport. I think Holiday Inn is also bringing one. So we have different international chains that are coming to Ecuador, and I think that is a good sign for the market too.
And I write a lot about luxury travel.
Yeah.
Is there an effort to bring in, Four Seasons and kind of luxury chains and reach out to that level of traveler?
Yes, that is exactly something that we're working on. For us, the luxury is, I would say, segment of the market is very important because it's the quality of tourists that we want to have.
Right.
Being a destination that in a way has lots of natural and cultural resources, we are also very sensitive in the sense that we cannot be a destination that grows just in volume.
Right.
So we need to grow in the quality of the expenditure to increase our income. So the segment of the luxurious travel is very important for us. And we do see lots of products that I would say are attractive to them. So for example, we have this river cruise Anaconda that is in the Yasuni National Park, which is perhaps the most biodiverse place on earth. So just the Yasuni National Park has more species of birds than all the US and Canada together.
Right.
And so you have this luxurious boat with all the comfort of the city, but in the middle of the Amazon. So that one is beautiful and gets a lot of attention. That is the one that sometimes charters Adventures by Disney.
I see.
Part of their cruise is with that one. So they do that in Galapagos. We have lots of luxurious hotels in the Galapagos too, like the Finch Bay, the Royal Palm, the Safari Camp. And in Ecuador, we're also looking, and we have some interest of some firms that want to have more hotels in the mainland, particularly in Quito.
Right. And a lot of those cases, is it you or Ecuador reaching out to those brands, or the brands are coming to you, or a little of both?
I would say it's a combination, because it's interesting that in the hotel industry you have the people that builds the hotels and the
Right.
one that manages.
Right.
So we have seen a very good partnership with our Ecuadorian investors. There is also international investment in some of the hotels where
Right.
it's shared. And the brands are starting to come to Ecuador, so that is also a good sign.
Right.
So they go and look for a local partner that in a way take away that risk of going somewhere they haven't been before,
Right.
that they don't know. So that's why they look for local partners. But we're very positive and we are getting lots of attention and responses of that.
And as my knowledge of Ecuador was pretty much Galapagos.
Yeah.
That was pretty much and the equator.
Yeah.
How do you expose everything else that's in the country to people where maybe that's their sole image or sole perception of it.
Yeah.
Not that it's a bad perception.
No, it's very good, but it's true. Like, Galapagos is the jewel of the crown, I would say, whatever. And our main challenge as a tourist board has been showing Ecuador beyond the Galapagos,
Right.
showing what we call the four worlds of Ecuador. And perhaps that is one of the uniqueness of the country, because we have the Amazon,
Right.
the Andes, the coast, the Galapagos, but in such a small surface of like land that you can actually experience it all. So you literally could have, let's say, breakfast in the Amazon, you drive and have lunch under a volcano, then you drive and you have dinner in front of the coast, and then you take a plane to Galapagos, literally in one day, just to show you like the space that we're talking about. So I think that is the way we have been promoting the country of the four worlds, like as our slogan says, that like nowhere else has it all in one place, but really close.
Right.
Like very easy to access. And I think it has been important, the development and the attention that Quito has attired, because it has been an anchor in the mainland, and from there distributing the traffic to the other places of the country.
Right. Keeping with that same idea, in the past, to do all that, you did print ads in magazines and newspapers and TV commercials. It's a different world now. How do you find yourself trying to reach the travelers and things like that? Is a lot of social media and...
Yes, I think it's actually now it's very important, the social media, because first you get the highest return, and then you reach to more people, and currently with the instruments you can also be very targeted and specific to those that are more willing to travel to the country based on their interests. So I do think, and for us it's very important, the use of technology to reach to the right people. And we saw a very good impact, for example, in the Super Bowl. We did it the traditional way. We advertised in the Super Bowl. 62 million people saw it, but we doubled that with digital media. So we complemented our strategy of doing it in the Super Bowl with an additional campaign in social media, which of course didn't cost as much, but all that helped us to double the impact. So in total, it was 133 million people that knew about Ecuador. And that is exactly what we're gonna do with this one too. And I think perhaps our challenge is also to keep the surprise, to keep people always wondering what Ecuador gonna do next. So that is the way we're going. We want to surprise everyone and invite them to experience Ecuador, invite them to feel again. That is kind of the evolution of the campaign now.
And similar to the hotels, is there a lot of working with the airlines to provide convenient direct flights, which I think is another key thing
Yes.
to attract?
So yeah, to increase demand, we work on two pillars, we would say. The one is precisely promotion, the typical promotion to the consumer, the promotion to the trade industry, because that's also important. If you promote a beautiful product and when people go to the market, they don't find it.
Right.
So we are working with them, and also the promotion to investors, country as an investment destination. That in promotion. And the other one is precisely connectivity.
Right.
The faster you get there and the least time you spend on traveling, the more you enjoy in the destination. So we're very happy to announce, for example, United Airlines increased two more flights during the summer from Houston to Quito. American Airlines changed of plane with one of 20% more capacity. And we just announced that JetBlue is going to start operation in Ecuador,
Wow.
starting at the beginning of next year.
Right.
So that is, I think, it's a very important signal of the market that things in Ecuador are going well. And one of the things they mentioned is that the fact that we advertised in the Super Bowl showed to everyone that Ecuador was serious about investing in tourism. So it has been important, and I think those are the results that we start to see about our efforts of promoting the country.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so we're very happy. You are gonna hopefully have all the network of JetBlue connecting through Fort Lauderdale to Quito.
And I would think once your other promotions take effect and the demand increases, that they would address that by adding more flights as well.
Exactly.
Once the demand is there.
Yeah, and they are starting with one daily flight, which
Right.
is already a lot.
In talking to some of my colleagues about Ecuador, one of the issues that came up a lot was safety.
Yes.
And what are you doing to promote that this is a safe destination for travelers?
That is very important because we want to, we put a lot of effort in promoting the country, but we want tourists to have an unforgettable experience, something memorable, nice, and the least thing you want to worry in your holidays is safety. So we've been doing a lot of things. First, there has been an important investment from the government to increase I don't know, everything that the police needs, for example. So that is like a 450 million investment in the past 8 years. Another important thing is that we implemented the 911 emergency service that the country didn't have. So that is an additional $250 million investment, and it's covering the 100% of the place. We also implemented last year what we call it's called like a safety table of work, like a safety workshop, in which all the ambassadors based in Ecuador of the different countries, including in the US, are part of this. And we do it with the ministers on the safety sector. So the Minister of Interior, the head of the 911. And what we do is that we work in all the things related with safety. And we have started to see very good results. We also created protocols of emergency. So currently, if something happens to a tourist in Ecuador, we notify their embassy, our Minister of Foreign Affairs, and us. So I know exactly what happens with every tourist in the country. So I think that has been very useful to give them quick response. We're also working in a program with hotels to have safety buttons so that if something happens, they just press the button and immediately they connect to the 911 cameras. So they have helped us a lot to reduce possible incidents, because it's also kind of like just the fact that you know that there is something inhibits people from going. Right. So we've been working really hard on safety, and we're happy with the results already.
Good. Do you find that U.S. travelers are different than travelers from other countries?
Yeah, I do. I do think that every traveler has its special characteristics depending on when you come. And the thing that I find about the US is that they do like to experiment, but in a way they also don't want to change everything.
Right.
So for example, they would prefer to go to hotel brands that they know,
right,
not to just unknown things. Eventually they would like to have the food that they traditionally have,
right,
even though they like to experiment the local food. I think they also feel more comfortable if they have someone that would speak to them in English, or like part of the guide tour is someone that they can understand, right, and like talk and communicate. But I also find that they really enjoy, for example, you know, like going to experiencing the nature, the people, showing, like being with the community, experiencing the local food, but without going completely of their comfort zone. That's what I found. And I think Ecuador has a very good mix of that.
Good. You mentioned food. I always like to ask someone like yourself, what's a good street food? That someone, if you're coming to Ecuador, you need to try the...
You know what, it's very interesting because unlike other countries, for us it's very hard to say what is kind of like the typical food or the, right, must-do thing. And it varies depending on the region.
Right.
So for example, if you go to the beach, you probably would have a ceviche in one of the little cars in front of the beach. But if you are in the Andes, I don't know, perhaps go to one of the markets and have hornado, that is one of the traditional dishes, or have empanadas, the typical empanadas with, right, cheese. And so it just varies. For example, in the center of Quito, there is a place where they sell helado de paila. It's like an ice cream where basically what you do is you put the juice, yes, of the fruit, and it is on like a pot, and you just, sorry?
Helado de what?
De paila. Paila.
Paila.
Paila, it's like a, I don't know, like a pot. So you just put the juice there and it is over ice. So you just mix it until it turns into ice. So there is one ice cream shop that has been there 100 years.
Oh, wow.
And they have like all these different flavors, so it's part of the story. Food is actually something to experience in Ecuador, I would say.
What's that ice cream shop called?
San Agustin. San Agustin.
Okay.
It's just in the center of the city. It's very, very close. Like if you go to the historic center, that is where main tourists, right, go, like, I don't know, 2 blocks away.
Okay. And then good. On the other end of the scale, what's the fine dining world there like, the gastronomic? Do you have the nouveau Andean cuisine? Yeah,
I think something interesting that has been happening is that Ecuadorian food is getting also more gourmet, because that is important for international recognition. And there are very good restaurants, for example, Sasu, was recently named by CNN as one of the top 15 places to eat in the world.
Wow.
It was like the restaurant you must go.
Right.
It's more like high end, but it's a nice fusion of like Ecuadorian cuisine, but more like gourmet with a different style in a
Right.
very nice restaurant with wine. It's really good.
And I know you've traveled all over the world, lived a lot of different places. Other than beautiful Ecuador, do you have a favorite destination or a favorite place that you visited?
I think a special place for me is Massachusetts, just because I lived there, and it was an important 2 years of my life, like Cambridge in particular.
Right. But a lot of that was in school, right?
That was in school, yeah.
I think.
You know what? It's interesting that in Ecuador you can actually enter to the presidential palace. We have tours every day.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. If I go, can I do that and
You
meet
can.
President Correa as well?
You know, it's interesting. Every Monday at 11 a.m., there is what we call the change of the presidential guard. So this is a traditional ceremony that is done every Monday, in which literally you change, like you switch turns.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah. And so the president is there every Monday at 11
wow.
a.m. So he goes to the balcony, he greets the people.